Anyway, let's move on to our next review. It is going to be of Molly's Game. This is a 2017 American biographical crime drama film written and directed by the American god of screenwriting, Aaron Sorkin, in his directorial debut, based on the 2014 memoir of the same name by Molly Bloom. If you're not familiar with Sorkin's work, Fix Your Life. He has been responsible for several award-winning screenplays for films and shows such as A Few Good Men, The West Wing, The Social Network, Moneyball, The Newsroom, Steve Jobs, and The Trial of the Chicago 7. This film stars Jessica Chastain, Idris Elba, Kevin Costner, Michael Cera, Jeremy Strong, Chris O'Dowd, Joe Keery, Brian Darcy James, and Bill Camp. The film follows Bloom, played by Chastain, who becomes the target of an FBI investigation after the underground poker empire she runs for Hollywood, celebrities, athletes, business tycoons, and the Russian mob is exposed. The film premiered in September 2017 at the Toronto International Film Festival and began a limited theatrical release in the US that December before expanding wide on January 5th, 2018 and grossed $59 million worldwide. Molly's Game received positive reviews with particular praise for Sorkin's screenplay as well as Chastain and Elba's performances, with the former being considered one of the best of her career by some critics. The film earned Chastain a Golden Globe nomination for Best Actress in a dramatic role, while Sorkin earned nominations for his screenplay at the Academy Awards, Golden Globes, Writers Guild of America Awards, and the BAFTAs. Unsurprisingly, the film fared well, with audiences earning an IMDb rating of 7.4 and a Metascore of 71 from critics. Gentlemen, take a stab at the Rotten Tomatoes.
97. All right, quit.
86.
Terry, looks like it's going to be you and me for a while. 82% certified fresh.
Wow.
So, look, decent rating, 71 from critics, but 4 in 5 roughly, giving this one a thumbs up. The Dulcet Tones of Terry Fear, we did a lot of talking in the first segment. I would love to throw it to you, sir. Sorkin, 2017, his directorial debut, importantly. Usually he's just on the writing chops for this one, but now he's behind the camera and given direction to the star actors of this film. What were your thoughts on Molly's Game?
I really enjoyed it. You could definitely see Sorkin's stamp on this. Very snappy character interactions, really, really snappy dialogue. So good. And like, for someone who's worked for so long, I don't know. When I hear the fact that someone is transitioning from writing into directing, it kind of makes me think of the Penny Arcade. It's ironic that I'm wearing a PAX Penny Arcade Expo shirt. There's a really old comic where there's the Gabe and Tycho split, and one of them's responsible for illustrating, one of them's responsible for the writing, and they decide that they're going to continue making comics independently of each other. And one of them is perfectly illustrated in the quintessential Penny Arcade style, but it's just dog shit writing, and it's just this nonsensical drivel. And the other one is like stick figures and like punctuation and grammar points, and like just like these, again, it's still kind of nonsensical but very accurate like writing terminology in the thing. And so I can't help but think someone who is very well established as a writer stepping into the arena of something that is very much related to but is not the same as what they've been doing, I can't help but think of that comic and think, are we in for something that's not going to be good? By virtue of them not knowing what they're doing.
In that same vein, can you imagine being on set, watching David Fincher direct The Social Network? Because he was on set like every day, just to like, he pores over the script, he coaches the actors to say like, this is how I wrote this, say it like this, that kind of thing. To be there, watch David Fincher do his thing, and then go, I can do that, and then like, and then try it out.
Yeah,
man,
there's almost like there's like an audacity necessary to think that you can, write something and then know exactly how it needs to be said. But I mean, I don't think it's crazy to think that, no, I wrote these lines, I kind of have an idea of how I want it to be performed. And just because I haven't been the person to tell them that doesn't mean that I can't do that. So I just wanted to share that little thought thing that I had, knowing that this was his director. Now that I know that it's his directorial debut, did a great job. I think that it's really well done. Pacing is really tight. Like the story kind of is a pace from a really short notice. I love the opening sequence where you've got Chastain narrating over a set of circumstances that are unfolding, and she's like, "People will say the worst thing that can happen in sport is this," and then like there's the culmination of this event, and she's like, "So this story has nothing to do with the game, but I needed to include it so I can say to the people that say that the worst thing that can happen is to win silver, fuck you," because like I literally ended up with steel fused to my spine as a result of this thing happening, or no, breaking my neck or something because she had steel in her spine. Anywho, liked it a lot. Really liked it a lot. You've got Strong. What's his first name?
Jeremy.
Jeremy Strong. Jeremy Strong, in a really interesting role, as this guy who's at the club and like sees her and he's like, "You're not just like every other floozy that tries to upsell bottle service. You've got a way of getting people on your side. I can use that. Would you like to come and work for me?" He's like, be at work at this time.
And she's like, "What makes you think that I need, I need your thing?" And he's like, "You're a waitress here, and I'm drinking beer. Check the fucking scoreboard."
That's it. Yeah, I love that interaction because like she has this massive pride, and like it totally makes sense that she would have a sense of pride because she's accomplished a shitload before she got to this point, and whatnot. It's part of her charm. Yeah, really, I like this film. I like it a lot. I've really enjoyed this. For a game that's for a movie that's very much centered around the game of poker, it doesn't have a lot of poker like unfolding in front of the viewer. It's not like 21, the movie with Kevin Spacey and the card counting math nerd genius guys, where it's lots and lots of blackjack games happen, and it's very much the focus of the
Have you seen
film.
Rounders, Terry?
I have seen Rounders. Yeah, brilliant film. Very
That's
much
such a good poker film.
Yeah, exactly. And so for a film centered around the game of poker, Molly's game of poker, there's not a lot of actual like poker games and poker hands that you see. There's a handful of like the combinations of hands that you kind of find, and I would say if you're interested in learning about poker, this movie would probably be really helpful to watch because she's learning the ropes of poker and talking about the different terminologies and explaining them in a fairly approachable way, like a fairly approachable manner. And then you should watch something like Rounders. So like watch this, then watch Rounders, and you should have a pretty good understanding of elements of the game of poker. Or you could just watch online poker. It's also very, very fun. Yeah, I don't know. The movie did make me want to play poker. I used to play a semi-regular game with some of the chaps from church up in Armidale, and a $2 buy-in, super high stakes, and yeah, just really good fun. And watching this kind of made me miss the fact that I'm not going to be playing poker with those guys now that we live in Canberra. But certainly made me want to play a fair bit.
Nice. I'll throw it to you, Mr. Movies. You are a self-confessed Sorkin Dorkin. You, I'm trying to think of one for Chastain as well. You're a fan of hers
Yes.
as well. And you guessed 97% fresh for this one, so I'm inclined to think that you enjoyed this one as well.
I thought it was alright. Yeah, it was pretty good. Have you guys? There was a Jessica Chastain movie that came out the year before this one, which plays like an Aaron Sorkin. Like you would be wrong if you guessed, but you would be right to guess that it was an Aaron Sorkin written film called Miss Sloane.
I didn't see that one. No. I thought you were going to say A Most Violent Year. Was that Chastain and Oscar Isaac? Is that the one I'm thinking of? It definitely wasn't a Sorkin-esque film. I'm gonna have to look it up.
This one's very Sorkin. It's boardroom meetings, fast talking back and forth. Who's the bigger brain in this conversation? Every conversation is like that. Every conversation is like the first conversation in the Social Network
Mm.
where they're like talking 3 sentences ahead of the question that they're answering and all that kind of fun stuff that Sorkin loves to do. And it's like Jessica Chastain is playing the same character. She's playing like extreme, like I will not lose, um, extremely competitive businesswoman who um, can't sleep, can't be beaten, is thinking like in this chess game like 20 steps ahead kind of deal, and she's you know out there to do whatever. And then Molly's game, it's very very similar, and to like literally, I was like, halfway through watching it, not knowing who wrote it or who directed it or whatever, and I was like, oh, this is definitely a Sorkin film. Like I'm watching Sorkin's new movie, and it wasn't. And then I watched Molly's Game, which was, and I was like, what is happening? This is the same movie. It's like just different character, like just a different story, but it's the same movie. Anyways, yeah. So this is how I'd love to explain what Molly's Game is. Let me start by like you're a filmmaker, Shane, and you're going to make me a film. And I'm going to start by tying both your hands behind your back and say, like, all right, we're going to have a poker movie where you don't play a single hand of poker. We're going to have a movie that's all happened in the past and you're telling a story retrospectively. And so no, we know how it ends up, like we know how your story is going to end as you're telling it already. And it's a courtroom movie, so nothing really exciting is going to happen except back and forth, A, B, talking. And there's no romance, there's no kissing or sex. Now go and make the best movie that you could possibly do with all of those paralyzing conditions, and you'll and if you're the best movie maker in the world, you're going to come back with Molly's Game, because that's what this is. This is like the best possible output for all of those terrible setups for a feature film. Like, maybe the reason Aaron Sorkin directed is because nobody else bloody would. Because it sounds like
He's like, I can polish this turd.
Challenge accepted.
He gets his turd polishing like kit and he puts on his glasses. And, but I love this film. I think it's like my second favorite Aaron Sorkin movie, and that would maybe make it my fourth favorite movie or something. I don't know. I don't play real favorites. Again, I love the Jeremy Strong character. He's like
Jeremy Strong is unbelievable. Like I can't name a film that he's delivered a bad performance. Like
how good is he?
I think first, I'd probably be mistaken in saying this, but the first like very memorable performance from him was Big Short for me. And then he was in The Gentleman, if I recall correctly. No, not The Gentleman. He was in the Matthew McConaughey one.
The Dallas Buyers Club.
Dallas Buyers. No.
Oh, what was
He's
that
in
one?
The Gentleman. That is the Matthew.
Yeah, that is the Matthew McConaughey one. Yeah, it was The Gentleman.
Yeah.
I've seen him in a couple of other roles as well, but always fantastic.
He seems so different in that.
I think The Judge. I think he's in The Judge as well.
He's the youngest brother, or
the younger brother,
youngest, but the least capacitive brother.
Yeah.
The one who's just obsessed with filming everything, which is this thing that I don't want to. Do I want to go into this? I'll do it in like 10 seconds. Filmmakers and people that write movies love to put characters in their movies that love movies, because that's all they know how to talk about, because they love movies. And so, like, you've got a half retarded kid in this movie. We'll just make him obsessed with film. And so we'll just give him like tons of old fun cameras and make him just, negatives and go and talk. And that's all he talks about. Film. And I can do that. So I'm just going to boom, that character's done easy.
Yeah. Also, he's also in Lincoln and Zero Dark 30, which I don't recall him in Zero Dark 30 or Lincoln for that matter. Trial of the Chicago 7, he was there. Yeah, fantastic. His earliest credit was 2008, so young fella, I think.
In Molly's Game, he's like a course like for negging. Like if you're a bad dude and you want to know how to neg hot women, watch Jeremy Strong's performance in Molly's Game, because he's the worst, as in the best at this worst endeavor. And he's the guy who introduces her to the game, and he sets up this poker night with his buddies who are like the biggest stars in town or whatever, and they all talk shit and play poker for hours every Tuesday night or whatever is the story for how, like, why he's important. And she shows up for the first night and everyone like is loving her because she's Jessica Chastain. She's like gorgeous. And then he just walks straight up to her and he says, "Ugly dress, ugly shoes," and then he just walks away. That's all he says to her. Oh,
Yeah.
oh. Everything he says to her is like, how
It's
can I
really
make
horrible.
you? How can I say what I need to, and also make you leave the conversation feeling terrible?
Yeah.
Every conversation he has with her is that, and he like calls her. He's like, "Are you listening? Because I need you to hear this. You are worthless and terrible." It's just he's making phone calls in the middle of the night. Oh, love it.
Mm.
Kevin Costner's amazing in this film
I
too.
was
As
gonna
her
say, if you weren't
boss.
gonna say
Really
it,
good in this
this
film.
might be his best performance in my eyes. Like it'd be this and oh no, it's completely
Waterworld.
fallen out of my head.
Well,
Waterworld.
No, oh the film that we reviewed on the Awesome Addiction. It's The Company Men. The Company Men.
Company Men. Yeah.
That film and this one, in my eyes, he is amazing.
He's the dad of Ben Affleck, right? In the film?
I think he's the father-in-law from memory.
Father-in-law.
Yeah.
He's got the construction business or something.
That's right. Yeah.
Yeah.
In this film, he
Really
plays Molly Bloom's father, and he steals every single scene that he is in. He does so much with so little. It is actually a masterful performance. I was blown away by Kevin Costner.
I don't know if you guys do this, but when I'm watching a movie I'm really into, I'll um I'll flag a line. Like I'll go, that's the best line in the movie. Like as soon as it's said, I'm like, that was it. Like it just shakes you or whatever. There's this shot. I do it with shots as well. Like in Baby Driver, there's that shot where he's whipping around the car
I
park
know exactly what you're about to say. Yeah.
with Darlene or what
Yep.
Yep.
in the and it's when she's like she does that oh my God, it's so good. It's like it sends shivers like just thinking about it. And so the first time I saw that movie, it's like I grabbed both armchairs. Like I was like, it's a quarter of 1 second shot. It's the shot. It's like just the shot. It's the same as the one we've been talking about in the Awesome Addiction chat, in our group chat, where in Age of Ultron, where he rips the log in half. It's like a quarter of a second in the film, and it's like that's the best shot in the whole movie. That is so good. I love the concept and the execution and everything about that shot. And in this movie, it's the shot where she's talking about how she had that really crazy accident as a kid, and she's got all this stuff grafted to her spinal cord and stuff. And the doctor is literally saying, "No more, like that's the end of skiing. Like no more skiing for Molly." And then you see him like just turn and look at her, and everything is in those eyes. Like that's a load of bullshit. And then she says, because she's telling the story, and you hear her narration. I was skiing again in 12 months and doing moguls in 18 months. Like that look, and like leading into the fact that whatever that doctor is saying now means nothing, was the best part of that movie for me. Like I watched that movie again, and it's a nothing shot that doesn't do anything, but it's the best shot in the film for me. And so I don't know why I do that, but that one's the one for me, and I'm like, boom. And then the quotes. Like the reason we watched this movie is because a couple of weeks ago I gave a couple of quotes for this movie, and nobody got it because nobody had seen the film. And when Player X does his quote, he says, "I don't even like to play poker." And she says, "Why do you play?" And he says, "I like destroying lives." I was like, "Oh."
Yeah.
Like Sorkin.
So that that was my favorite line in that one, just the way that Player X delivers it, especially on the rewatch when you know who Player X is supposed to be. Loved it. Loved this movie. I'm just going into the details of it, but broad strokes, it's amazing that it exists, that it works, and all the minutia is just, I eat it up. I love every piece of this film, especially knowing the like what I'm watching. Like I hate movies where it's like, let me tell you the story about how I got here. It's like, no.
Yeah.
Please don't.
Do the movie thing. Don't read a book. Yeah.
Especially knowing that, it's so
Go
good.
and read a book.
All the characters are great. I love the Irish character, the guy from
Chris
the
O'Dowd.
IT crowd, Chris O'Dowd. Yeah, I love his character. How she introduces him. It's like we had this one guy. Every time he'd start a conversation, it would sound like the start of a detective novel, and he'd just sit down and go, "Gut shot on the river."
Amazing writing.
And then there's the Bad Brad character. I love Bad Brad because he's the guy who just wants to be there and play with his buddies, and he's playing higher stakes. Like he's playing like $50,000 buy-in, 5,000, 10,000 blinds, and he can't play poker. Like he's just, you get introduced to the concept of pot committed, and how like if you've seen the flop, like you put money in, you may as well see it to the end. So you may as well just call all the time until you get to the end and lose all your money. So yeah, that's how he's introduced. And he's like, Molly, could I have another 50,000? He's like, Brad, sit down. Do you want me to get you like some help? Maybe some books you could read about poker? He's like, no, I just want to play. Can I just get some more money? I'll pay.
Yeah.
Like, I'll pay double.
I don't have any friends. This is
I
fun.
know. Fun. In reality, no one doesn't know that much about poker. Like no one is that dumb about poker that plays it. Like that could sit at a table for more than an hour and still be that bad. Where it's like, you didn't have queens, and he's like, no, I didn't have any pairs. It's like, you didn't have any pairs at all? He's like, none except for the two on the board there.
Yeah. He's like, the only queen I had was the one on the board.
Yeah.
It's not paired with anything.
Amazing.
Oh, gosh.
Such a funny character. So the characters, I love it. Go, you take it from Shane. I'm just going to keep talking.
No, that's all right. I'm going to echo a lot of what you said, but I want to start at the very top with, like I said, the American god of screenwriter, as I described him in the details, Aaron Sorkin. I think, this might be one of my favorite Sorkin films as well, Ben. And then I forget that he's done films like Moneyball. I'm like, oh, hang on. Then I'll just like have to recalibrate.
Moneyball. I didn't know he did Moneyball until you read it.
Yeah.
I was like, oh.
Yeah. So actually, just looking through those details again, let's just double confirm what he's done. Obviously, we know The West Wing, we know The Newsroom as the seminal shows. I would probably put this above Social Network, though I haven't seen it in a while. And just based on my memory of the Trial of Chicago 7, I know I loved that film, but just something about this film speaks more to me. I think I put Steve Jobs at the very top of Sorkin's work in my mind, and then probably Moneyball below that. But man, Molly's Game would certainly get close, I think. I've seen Moneyball like 3 or 4 times. I really, really enjoy that film. But anyway, I wanted to, when I was putting together the details on Wikipedia and I was reading the critical response, I think Peter Travers, he did a review for the Rolling Stone, gave it 3 out of 4 stars, and I think he puts it perfectly in describing Sorkin's work. He says, Molly's Game bristles with fun zingers, electric energy, and Sorkin's brand of verbal fireworks. So that's exactly what they are.
Yeah.
Sorkin's writing is explosive and emotive, and you can't look away is essentially how I would put it. Like, I still am thrilled every time I boot up the pilot of The Newsroom and you get to watch, this dramatic journey unfold in a newsroom. Like, to your point, Ben, these aren't dire circumstances. These aren't save the world scenarios. These are just sometimes, true stories, or it's inspired by true events. And Sorkin manages to wrap it up in a way that is just thrilling to watch over and over and over again. And I admire and am enthralled by and also jealous of just his creativity as well. I remember years ago when I first discovered The Newsroom, it was via the Totally Rad show, when Jeff Canada was giving his review for the show, and he said that he put it this way, and I think this is still true, rings true to this day with a lot of what Sorkin does. He said that Sorkin doesn't write the world the way it is, he writes the world the way it should be, in the sense that he likes to put a spotlight on characters with such profound integrity, and I feel inspired walking away from any one of his pieces of work. You look at a dozen characters within The Newsroom, and you can point to them and be like, that is a brilliant person right there. That is someone I want to get to know and I can be inspired by. And there are so many fantastic little character moments in this one between Elba and Chastain where you're like, that is the moment where they show their true character, and it's beautiful to watch on the screen. It's when Elba decides in the courtroom to represent Chastain, to represent Bloom, and it's beautiful. And I love just back on the writing and its explosive nature. I love those moments. It got a bit tired towards The Newsroom because I think it just started to repeat the same template over and over again. But there are many moments in this film that I kind of compare to similar scenes in Steve Jobs, where it's like this beautiful but very rapid unfolding of the truth right in front of your eyes, where the verbal fireworks are going off and you're leading up to this crescendo, and the crescendo is usually the realization of one or several characters understanding the true motivations of another character and how good they are, and it just ties back to the integrity here. It's when Kevin Costner's character of Bloom's father reveals to Molly why she hates him, and it's like this. It's just this. I don't know. I feel like it's this true, just fantastic representation of their relationship boiled down into one singular cinematic moment. I think that's what the crux of it is, right? It's a complex relationship, but this one beautiful crescendo illustrates their relationship so perfectly in a cinematic way that it really is. It blows my mind every time. It's also the back and forth between Steve Jobs and Wozniak in the film Steve Jobs as well. It happens so many times throughout Sorkin's work that every single time I know it's going to come, I know it's going to happen, and I'm so excited when it does, because he just constantly delivers.
There's this one thing that Sorkin does that I dislike, and it's when other writers do it, lots of other writers do it, where two people are both saying something at the same time and they don't stop and they keep and then they're shouting at the same time, and then somebody says something really really revealing at the end, and it's in this one, it's the because it's my name, it's all I have, that scene, which I won't spoil anymore, but I don't know why I forgive it. I guess it's the same. I get the same feeling with those things as I do when I see anybody in movies with a drink, and I'm like, that cup is empty. And it always is, and they're always just trying their best to drink air. And I'm like, I hate how they do this. It's the same kind of thing.
It's not believable to you anymore. Like, you can't imagine a real life scenario where that might actually happen, because I kind of feel the same way. It happened. I feel like it happened every second episode in the newsroom. That's why I think it was a trope that we recognized by the end of season 3.
Yeah, exactly. And the other thing, which isn't so bad, but I'm starting to pick up on it, is where someone starts a rant or something at somebody by saying, like, almost to themselves, they say, okay, here's the reason why, and so they've got something prepared. Like, people don't do that in real life. Like, people don't have this whole triad of insults or whatever, or pre-written speech prepared that they're constantly just convincing themselves not to say. And then this is the part where they go, all right, I'm gonna say it, and here it is. And so that happens also in this film when she's yelling at Dean, at Jeremy Strong's character, about why he is so in debt and his company is so poorly financially structured. She just goes ham on the fact that he's taking 20% debt because they're bad debts, and the market is turning upside down. And she just rattles on all the reasons why he is failing and she shouldn't be a part of that failure.
It's not.
It's neither here nor there.
Yeah.
I've got so many favorite dialogue scenes though to combat that and make it a great film. I love the one where I love the relationship between Idris Elba and his daughter, where he's assigning all this extra curricular homework to his daughter, and she comes in with her essay on the Crucible or whatever, and he's like, oh no, he's talking to he's skimming that while also asking about her math homework, like, did you finish that math stuff on advanced calculus or whatever it was? And she's like, yes, Dad. And he's like, did you nail it? Like, could you teach it? Could you teach it to me? And she's like, yes, I could teach it to you. And he's like, all right, then, good. Now go and do your regular homework or whatever. And she's like, and then he's like, do you think I give her too much stuff? And then Jessica Chastain's response is like, I boarded with a girl who went and spent the weekend with a random guy that she met online, or on social media or whatever. And do you know what was in it for her? Like, how much? It was a bag. It was a single bag that she really wanted. So whatever you're doing to your daughter, double it.
Double it. Yeah.
Yeah. My dad was hard on me too, and it bloody worked.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm not this strumpet who's going off to for a whole weekend just for a bag.
The only other point I think I wanted to make with this one was love the performances overall. To your point, I thought Elba was great. So let me say that. But I couldn't help but feel as though a better actor could have done a stronger job in this role. Like, again, not like no racial profiling here, but I just imagined for a moment that Denzel Washington was like in that role, and in my mind, the film was 3 times better already.
Maybe the reason Idris Elba is there in my mind is because of his "I'm waiting for you to do the right thing" speech that he rallies off, like how Molly shouldn't even be here in this RICO indictment, and like she's just being dumped on, and she's got every reason to play the only card she has, and she refuses to play it because of her integrity or whatever. And the way he hits those, I don't know, it's like a rhythmic thing. The way he keeps coming back to do the right thing. I sound like an idiot when I talk about this, but I feel like Idris Elba nails that scene too much. Like nobody else could do that scene. But,
but could just for a moment, just with the lawyers representing the US government, could you imagine Denzel giving that monologue? Oh my god, it would be amazing. Anyway, I just Sorkin needs to write and direct Denzel. That's all I'm saying. At some point in the near future, before one of them dies, please.
Yeah, before either of them die.
Yeah. I will say though, Francine Meisler, the American goddess of casting, casted this film as well. Yes. So Francine, just a little note for you there. Denzel next time, please. Thank you very much. Yeah.
I could use a little more Denzel.
Any other points, gents? I think we've wrapped this one up neatly.
Yeah, no extra thoughts. We could put a fork in it. She's done.
There's this Michael Cera plays this guy who's purposefully not named. Like we're not supposed to know who he is. He's just one of the. He's the big draw for the game. He's the biggest celebrity that plays, and others just want to go and say that they played with him.
Yeah.
And so his character in the film is lauded as like he's the best actor ever or whatever. Just like Chris Evans in the other Michael Cera movie. How about that? In the Scott Pilgrim versus the World. How Chris Evans is like, oh, he's the world's best and biggest actor ever, and everyone loves him. And then he's a caricature, but Michael Cera isn't so much a caricature. But I found like that tricks me enough. Like I'm like, Michael Cera is so good at acting, but I've just been told that he is. Like,
yeah. It's the exact same thing with Edward Norton in Birdman, where his character he is the best theatre performer you can possibly get, and so when he's brought in, you're just like, oh, okay, so that's what I've been told. So now I perceive his performance as the best thing on offer.
Anyone who you ever see acting that doesn't do it the way he does isn't as good.
Yeah.
Because he's not. It's like, well, no, they don't have the quintessence of what this guy's performance was. So yeah.
But there's the one scene where Player X is trying to bluff a guy off of the nuts. Well, I think she says the nuts. She says the best possible hand, and I think she says the nuts as well. And this is so impossible. Like, if you know poker and you know you have the best hand, there's nothing that anyone should be able to say. But I don't know. She's saying it like there is something that this guy said that caused the guy to muck his hand and fold. And like that was just on this 4th or 5th rewatch. I was just like, I can't believe. I used to believe it because I was like, man.
I think there was only one other hand that could beat him, and was it like 4 kings or something like that?
He says, I've got queens in here. Like, he says what he's got. He doesn't have it. He says, like, I got queens in here. I've got you. Like, he says his... But again, like, the thing is, if she's saying that the other guy had the nuts, it doesn't matter what he says he's got. Like, the nuts is unbeatable.
Yeah.
Right.
And so I got a little bit confused.
Unless he says what the other guy has as well. Like... It's possible for split pots to happen where you have the same hand.
Well, you don't fold on a split pot situation either. You say, like, okay, call, let's split the pot. But I have seen in real poker, like, highlights where people will muck the nuts, but that's just because they forgot what they were holding or something. Like, they thought they had a different suit or something like that. And they didn't know, oh, shit, it was 2 spades.
I've seen it happen. Gosh, what's the guy's name? Negrano.
Yeah, Negrano will call what you got.
He calls what you've got.
Yeah.
He called a dude on Kings, and
Yeah,
the
he's
guy's
like,
like,
yeah.
if he knows what I
And
have,
he puts a bet in.
and he puts a bet in, he
Yeah.
must know that, like, he must have something better if he knows what I've got, and
Yeah.
calls it so accurately. So the dude
That's
folded,
so
and
good.
he had the nuts.
Yeah, so in this scene, Sarah's not doing that. He's telling you
No,
what
he's
he's
saying
got
I
and
have a
saying
worse
it.
hand than you.
Yeah, he's saying, I got queens and I've got you. I swear on my mother's life, I
Yeah.
have you. You have to fold because I'm sick of taking your money. That's his angle. But yeah, the Negreanu thing is great because he's like,
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure you got kings, so I'm in. And he does have kings,
Yeah, and the
but
guy's
the
like,
kings win, and he's just totally
yeah,
and he's like, damn it, he knows I've got kings and he's gonna win, so he'll fold. Yeah, but anyway, yeah, this rewatch that I did, I was like, man, I love Michael Cera. He's such a great actor. And then it was just because I was told that he was that I believed that,
Yeah.
and I just wanted
Yeah.
to say how silly I was that I believed it.
Anyway, better watch it a fifth time, Ben, and go check the nuts quote, see if it plays out.
Yeah.
Anyway, Molly's Game. It is available on something. Where did I watch it? Disney Plus, I think.
Disney Plus.
Disney Plus at the moment. So check it out for yourselves. Another Sorkin classic.